Some say childbirth is the hardest job in a woman's life. After enduring the excruciating pain, I was in euphoria to finally meet my beloved child. But a stupid man trampled on everything. If you can't even take care of the housework, I'm done with you. My husband Jason threw divorce papers at me. Unforgivable. The flame of revenge surged through me. My name is Heather. I got married 4 years ago and had been a housewife. We had hoped to have children as soon as we were married. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to conceive even after a while. When I came to realize it, I was already 30 years old. I was getting impatient seeing women around me having babies. My friends who had babies showed me apps to calculate my ovulation and recommended Chinese herbal medicines to boost my fertility. I tried everything, but nothing was successful. After 3 years of trying, I suggested to Jason that we go for an infertility treatment. But he refused. His reason was it was too much of a hassle. Many women get pregnant without medical help, don't they? Haven't been putting in enough effort. He was totally ignorant about conception. It wasn't just up to me, but his effort was necessary too. I had tried to make him understand that, but he wasn't interested. You're overreacting. It's a waste of money to go for the treatment. He insisted it wasn't worth spending to conceive. I fell in love with him for being a sweet and caring person. But I wondered if it was all a delusion. A minor hiccup slowly turned into distrust. Before we were married, he wanted to have 2 kids. And he was eager to share the duty of housework and bringing up children. I assumed he was also feeling the pressure and stress. We were having more arguments over infertility issues, and maybe I was being a little too sensitive. As I reflected, I tried to be more affectionate and caring towards him. Love you, hon. Thank you for taking the trash out. However, I couldn't help but notice that we were becoming more distant. Are you not knocked up yet? You're already 30, aren't you? Isn't it getting too late? Why can't you get pregnant? A woman comes of age once she bears a child, right? The heartless words of Jason stopped me each time. My only ally was his mother, Maggie. Don't say such terrible things. Don't mind him. She lived nearby and was a very kind mother-in-law, who brought delicious food that she wanted to share with us every weekend. She scolded Jason for his nasty words and deeds, and always defended me. I, too, couldn't get pregnant for a long time, and my mother-in-law used to make comments about it. It was really hurtful to hear on top of my own anguish. My parents had passed away already, so I trusted her like my own mother. You can talk to me about anything. I was thankful for her kindness. She lost her husband early and raised Jason alone. The words of a strong woman were most reassuring. How can such an insensitive man like Jason be the son of this sweet woman? I couldn't help but wonder. At such a time, I became pregnant. Our long-awaited first child after 5 years of marriage. No way! Really? Happiness trembled inside of me as I clutched the test kit. Congratulations! That's really great! I'm very happy for you. I shared the joyous news with Maggie first. Thank you so much for all your support, Maggie. Nonsense. I'll always be here if you need me. Don't forget that. I wanted to surprise Jason and watch his face brighten up. I looked forward to him coming back home that day. But... Oh, finally! I felt a sting of pain at his nonchalant reaction. It's our long-awaited baby. Aren't you excited? For what? There's nothing to be excited about. It's such a normal thing. Wow, what a killjoy. I expected him to be overjoyed, so I couldn't hide my surprise at his unexpected reaction. Normal couple would have 2 kids by now. It's just that you are an anomaly. Why was he making fun of me compared to others? My dim hope of reconciling our relationship by this pregnancy had disappeared into thin air. I didn't mean to cry, but tears welled up. I was going to be a mother, so I must be stronger. I promised myself. My pregnancy was difficult, to say the least. My morning sickness was so awful that I worried about if I could carry out to the full term. Not only morning sickness, but I had to endure desperately with our occasional illnesses. Because I couldn't take over-the-counter drugs. Even at such times, Jason didn't care, but looked at me coldly. Where's my dinner? Sorry, I'm feeling too bad that I can't prepare it. Can you make it yourself? What the? You are a housewife, right? Do your job. But I'm feeling terrible. Why can't you just help out? Whatever. I'm gonna eat out. He was petulant and left the house. Maybe, just maybe, I had a fault too. But his inconsiderate attitude towards his sick wife was very upsetting. Whose baby did he think I was carrying? I thought it was better to keep calm and had a talk once he was back. When he returned after 1 hour, I showed him something. I went for a checkup today. Our baby is getting bigger, you see? I hoped that an ultrasound image would help him realize the fatherhood and would have started treating me better. But his reaction again was like, and? He wasn't even interested. It's your baby. Have a good look. It's just an image. Can nothing work on him anymore? A feeling of resignation was slowly beginning to grow inside me. I couldn't make him get more involved in this pregnancy. So I consulted with Maggie. She was astounded to hear about the incident. She never imagined that her own son was mistreating his wife. I apologize on behalf of him. He's terrible. Please, you don't need to. It wasn't my intention to complain, but I just needed someone to vent to. Can I come over sometime? If I see him acting oddly, I would scold him. I assume he wasn't really gotten a grasp on it. He should come around if I speak to him. Of course. Please do. I readily accepted her suggestion. It was important for the baby to be born into happy parents. So, I wanted to fix our relationship. However, my expectation crashed once again. What are you doing here, Mom? I'm helping Heather, of course. It's a huge job to carry a baby to the term. Jason's fullness was unstirred by his own mother. I heard what's been going on. You were terrible. You need to grow up for your future child. Don't rely on Heather too much. It seemed that absolutely nothing could reach his brain. Why do I need to be preached by you, Mom? Is birthing a child so laudable anyway? Heather's been using her pregnancy as an excuse and slacking on housework. She stays at home and brings no money. But she was going to waste it on infertility treatments. I don't get it at all. I was appalled to find out what he had been thinking. I'm not just slacking. I've been feeling too sick to even do my daily things. Aren't you a housewife? Maintaining good health is part of your job too. Like it was that easy as you say. You know, it doesn't work like that. Blah, blah, blah. You always have excuses. I'm done here. Me too. I knew it wasn't good for the baby, but I couldn't help raising my voice. He went too far. Calm down. Let's talk it out like adults. Maggie intervened, but there was no use. Jason and I studied the Cold War from then on. Maggie tried to mediate between him and me, but all her efforts ended up in the trash. That was all because he refused to talk. He started coming back home late and stayed out almost all day on weekends. We were no longer husband and wife. Nevertheless, I desperately clung to our marriage for the baby. To welcome the baby into the world, I could endure any hardship. I focused on childbirth first and took care of my life from then on. No stress, moderate exercise, and a well-balanced diet. And then came to the day of delivery. The labor was very long, but my healthy daughter was born. It was absolutely unforgettable moment to hold my child for the first time. I was overtaken by love and gratitude for her. Great job, Heather. Congratulations. Maggie, who had been with me all through the labor, was tearing up. By the way, Jason? There was no sign of him anywhere. I couldn't reach him, so I left a message. I'm so sorry for his foolishness. My heart ached for her sorrowful expression. Was it too much to ask for him to be here and celebrate the birth of our first child? As I was thinking, the door of my recovery room was shoved roughly open. Honey! Jason had arrived. Here, take it. He handed me something as soon as he entered. You know, you've been slacking on housework, using excuses of morning sickness and stuff. Such an irresponsible housewife. Just because you've delivered the baby, don't let it go to your head. If you still act the same, I'm divorcing you. I'll reconsider it if you agree to obey my rules. He was waving the divorce papers as he looked down at me. Maggie was the one to stand up to him. Jason, where have you been during the delivery? He ignored her and pressed me to answer him. So, what are you going to do? Are you going to change for the better? Huh? Your daughter is just born. Don't you have anything else to say? See, you were spiteful. I'm giving you a chance to change. I was supposed to be out of the hospital the day after tomorrow. But I couldn't think to raise my daughter with him. I asked myself what to do. The answer came easily. I do not need such a loathsome husband. Okay, let me think about it. I'll keep the papers with me. I grabbed them and put them in a safe place. These papers were going to encourage me to stand on my own feet. I was even thankful to Jason for coming up with the idea first. Then he left without a word. Jason's action made Maggie weep hard. Such a monster is really my son? I don't even know how to apologize to you, Heather. Don't worry, Maggie. But now, I want to ask you for a favor. I told her about my plan, that I had been warming up in my head for a while, and asked for her help. On the day of my discharge, I left the hospital earlier than planned. I held my beloved daughter and took a taxi to a certain place where we are going to live for the time being. When we arrived, Maggie was already awaiting us. How are you, Heather? Come inside. Thank you. But is it really okay? Of course. It's been empty for a while now. I've had it cleaned out so you can just move right in. Our new home was the house of Maggie's late parents. She arranged the mover. On the next day, Jason mentioned the divorce and had my things packed up and relocated. I was beyond grateful to her. Now, what are you going to do about the divorce? Of course I will. We don't need such an awful man in our lives. I agree. You can make it without him. I will support you whatever you decide to do. But we will no longer be related. Are you okay with that? Never mind. I always think of you as my own daughter anyway. No difference from now on. Her kindness warmed my heart. I always think of you my own mother too. I wish to keep our new friendship for a long time. We smiled and hugged each other tightly. The three of us will get along just fine. Since then, Maggie and I deepened our friendship. The night I was discharged, Jason called me. Hey, where have you gone? None of your business. The nurse told me you were already gone when I came by. Weren't you supposed to be out in the afternoon? And your things are all gone from the house. What did you do with the divorce papers? It was the right idea to leave earlier. If we had bumped into each other, my plan wasn't gonna work. Of course. I've signed and left them with my lawyer. What? Why did you do that? What do you mean? You brought them to me. I just wanted you to change your attitude. Besides, how would we divorce now that we have a child? You were such a fool. What? Who do you think you are? You were the fool who doesn't care about our child and suggests to divorce in the first place. Don't regret it. Whatever you say. We are strangers now. But I'll demand proper child support. It is our daughter's right. My lawyer was supposed to contact him for the details later. Jason didn't really think that I was going to divorce him, but I didn't care. Have a nice life. I hang up on him and ran to my beloved daughter. I had to be strong for her. I couldn't be intimidated by something like this. Afterward, I sent him my child support request through my lawyer. As for the division of property, I decided to hire Maggie's attorney. I was really grateful to have a strong support system. Jason had finally grasped the reality after a call from my lawyer, and he sounded more and more feeble by day over the phone. Babe, I think I've done terrible things to you. I'm really sorry. So what? So, I'm hoping to get back together for the sake of her daughter. Right. Impossible. I could not just forget and forgive. The calamity on the day of my childbirth was deeply rooted in my brain. It was hideous to know that the guy who looked down on me and made fun of me was now such a wimp. Then he started justifying himself. I was really happy when you got pregnant, but I was also anxious, so I took it on you. You should have been sweeter and more attentive to me. If you thought of me before anyone else. Here he was, still blaming me. I was up to the roof. I blurted out all my frustration at him. How old are you? You sound like you misunderstand a wife as a mother. What an immature baby. You wanted to take care of? That's exactly what I wanted from you. When I would stress about not getting pregnant and sick during my pregnancy, you never showed a hint of sweetness. You only care about yourself. I'll never forgive you. You must not ever get married. You better end your life alone and lonely. I'm serious. Don't ever get in touch with us. I get chills just hearing your voice. I hang up the phone. Wow, I finally hurled out all the frustrations and resentment. I felt so much better than I expected. Are you feeling okay? Yes, so much lighter. We gave high five to each other. We had to become like real mothers and daughters. After that, Jason became a center of gossip at work. People were curious about the divorce right after childbirth, which sounded more like a soap opera. He was too lonely living alone, so he went out binge drinking with his colleagues. Out of his drunkenness, he explained the tiny details of our divorce, which backfired and isolated him from the others. He felt too uncomfortable in the office and suddenly resigned. The fact he told people what exactly happened proved he still wasn't sorry at all. Instead of being sympathized by his colleagues, he was applauded. The child support was deposited every month, but who knew how long it would continue? Don't worry, I will let you know if I hear anything odd about him. My relatives and I have been watching him. Maggie was the one who told me about his resignation and the reason why. I'm currently living with my daughter and Maggie. It's an unusual combination, but a grandmother's love for my daughter is a big part of her life. Do you want to marry again? No way. I had enough with marriage. I laughed awkwardly, holding my daughter. Don't say that. Even though you're a single mother, you need to enjoy your own life. You're still young. I never imagined such words from the mother of my ex-husband. Hey, she is smiling. Katie is smiling. I bet she's saying, "Hang in there, Mommy." Her endless kindness touches my heart and I tear up. Have I ever been this sentimental? I will always do my best to make my daughter happy, and I will be happy myself. I promise to my smiling daughter.